Hey, in this lesson we're going to be solving equations graphically. So get out those graphing calculators and let's do 3 examples. Okay, our directions say for us to use a graphing calculator to approximate any solutions of the equation. And remember, when you're putting this into your calculator, you're going to need y equals. So remember to write the equation in the form f of x equals 0. So get everything on one side and make sure your equation is set equal to 0 so we can put it into our calculator. All right, the first problem is 4x to the third plus 12x squared minus 26x minus 24 equals 0. So we're actually going to be typing in the equation y equals 4x cubed plus 12x squared minus 26x minus 24. So let's type that in our calculator. Notice that this is a third degree polynomial, so we're going to have up to 3 real solutions. All right, so let's get our calculator, and we're going to type that in. Okay, y equals, we have 4x to the third plus 12x squared minus 26x minus 24. Okay, let's take a look at that graph. Notice that we have 3 places that we have x-intercepts, and that's what the solutions are our x-intercepts. Now, we don't see the entire graph, but we do see the x-intercepts, and that's really what we're looking for. If you look at your table, it'll give you an idea of where we really need to focus. Okay, so let's look at the table, and let's look for when either the y value is 0 or the y value changes sign, like from negative to positive or positive to negative. Okay, so notice here we have some negative y values, and then we have a positive y value, but when I was looking at my graph, I noticed that I have one a little bit further to the left. So let's scroll to the left. Okay, now notice your y values. At -7, we have -626. Then it's starting to get higher, and then at -5, it's -94, but at -4, it goes to +16. So we should have an x-intercept somewhere between -5 and -4 because the y values change sign. So somewhere between -5 and -4. Okay, we also, if we scroll down, notice all my y values are positive, and then it turns to negative here. So between -1 and 0, there's going to be another x-intercept. Then we're going to scroll it up. Look at there. Between x equals 1 and x equals 2, the y values go from negative to positive. So our third x-intercept is going to be somewhere between 1 and 2. All right, so let's go back to our graph. We may want to change our window a little bit. We really want to look at this area here. We said somewhere we had an x-intercept, we thought maybe between -5 and -4. We could change our window, or we could leave it the same. It doesn't matter. I guess we'll just leave it the same. Let's go ahead and calculate that x-intercept, or that 0. So on your calculator, you're going to, and I'm going to change this to where you can see exactly the buttons that I'm pressing. Okay, so this is what you do on your calculator. To get this x-intercept between -5 and -4, we're going to press second, calculate, which is that trace button. We're going to do number 2 for 0. Now, notice that you're going to have a cursor. We're going to have it, we need it to be on the left bound of that first x-intercept. So I don't even see my cursor yet. I'm going to move my arrow, my left arrow. I'm just going to keep moving it. There's my cursor. I need to keep moving it to where it's the left side of that first x-intercept. Should be coming back down. Oh, there it was. Okay, so see, here's our cursor. It's on the left side of the x-intercept. So somewhere over there, and then press enter. Now it says right bound, and we want to make sure that it's on the right side of that x-intercept. So I'm going to push the right arrow till my y value becomes positive. See right there, my y value is already positive. So press enter and then enter one more time. So notice our first x-intercept, let's write it on our paper. Our first x-intercept is approximately negative 4.206. That's the first one. All right, now we're going to calculate the second x-intercept. So we do the same process again. Press second, calculate. Number 2. Now we want our cursor to be on the left side of the second x-intercept. We need it to be a little bit closer. So let's use our right arrow, and we're going to go over. We're going to move our cursor. Go to the right, a little bit more. We're going to get a little bit closer. My y value should still be positive because on the left side of that x-intercept, it's still positive. See, there it is. So we're going to go ahead and press enter. I'm on the left side of that x-intercept. Press enter. And then go to the right side. So cursor to the right a little bit more. There we go. Now the y value is negative. Press enter. We don't want to guess, so press enter again. So the next intercept is about negative 0.735. And then we have one more x-intercept, okay, on the right side, that third one. So we're going to do the same thing. Second, calculate. Number 2, move your cursor a little bit closer, but we still want it on the left-hand side, so our y values are still negative there. There we go. Press enter. Then go to the right side. Again, now my y value is way up there at 13.5. So press enter, and then enter one more time. And notice our third x-intercept is at about 1.941. The y coordinate is 0. So that's how you calculate it with your calculator. Now, we also have some other problems that I wanted to show you. We're going to clear this. I'm going to press second, memory, 712, just to reset my calculator memory. All right, I'm going to go back to y equals, and I'm going to put in another value. All right, now let's look at our paper. These were our 3 x-intercepts, or our 3 zeros. On this next one, we have the square root of x minus 4 equals 2. But remember, we said we had to have everything equal to 0. So we're going to rewrite this. We're going to subtract the 2 over, make it square root of x minus 4, and then minus 2 equals 0. So when we type it in our calculator, we have y equals the square root of x minus 4, and then we're going to subtract 2. Now this is the main part I wanted to show you on this problem, is actually just putting it into your calculator. So if we want to type in the square root of x minus 4, we press second, square root, x minus 4. But you have to close those parentheses because this is everything that's underneath the radical, x minus 4. Then we say minus 2. Okay, then we're going to graph that. So there we go. Now notice we have just one x-intercept. If you look at your table, notice the graph doesn't start until 4, negative 2. We're going to take our cursor, we're going to just go down. Look right there. We have the point 80. 80 is our x-intercept, so we don't even have to calculate it. But if you did, again, you would get on the left side, you'd press second, calculate, 0, and then you would get on the left side, press enter, the right side, press enter, enter again because you don't want to guess, and then you would get your answer. So the x-intercept for this one is just simply the point 80. All right, we've got one more problem that I wanted to show you. We're going to clear out that. And we're going to go back and we're going to do the absolute value of x minus 2 equals 3. Okay, absolute value of x minus 2 equals 3. First of all, we've got to pull that 3 to the other side. So in our calculator, we're going to write y equals the absolute value of x minus 2 minus 3. So here's how we would put this in our calculator. To do absolute value, you press Math, the Math button here, then go over to the right one where it says Number, and notice the very first one says absolute value. So press that, press Enter. Then you put in the absolute value of x minus 2. Close your parentheses because that's everything underneath the absolute value, and then say minus 3. And let's take a look at that graph. Okay, it's a V shape. Notice that we have two x-intercepts. If we look at our table, let's do that first. Okay, notice I already see 5, 0 right there. That's one of our x-intercepts. But let's go back to the left. -1, 0. So our two x-intercepts are -1, 0 and also 5, 0. We were able to see them on our graph and also on our table, and we didn't even have to calculate those. So that's how you calculate your x-intercepts or your zeros using your calculator. All right, hope this helped. Bye.